What happened, pilot? Amber sighed. She was supposed to make history, not whatever this was. Max and Jane weren't sure either. The Alcubierre tech had started acting up when they had gotten about halfway to Pluto for their test flight. The UHF space piercer was traveling at 1.2 C before the computers started going haywire. The theoretical maximum was about 2.718 C, but the scientists didn't think using the maximum speed with a crewed vessel was a safe idea. Once they'd entered FTL, Amber, Max, and Jane had opened up some fruit punch bottles for a quick celebration. After all, you don't want to get drunk if you're responsible for piloting a $5 billion ship. But it was then that the problems began. Errors showed up on several screens as Max had come running from their quarters. The alarm that was blaring had clearly woken him up, judging by his very unkempt hair. He was testing the effects of Alcubierre space on human sleep, since there was no way to know whether the animal test would hold up. Rabbits and chimps were able to handle Alcubierre space just fine, though. A few minutes later, Jane opened the door to the botany room. She was half-dressed with protective equipment, while her t-shirt was wrinkled in several places. Amber figured that she'd been trying to struggle out of her beekeeping equipment for nearly a minute. "You should see how the bees reacted to the FTL transition," she exclaimed. "We can talk about that later, Jane," Max said, still breathing heavily. "Amber, what happened?" "I don't know. I'm about to drop us out of FTL so we can get back on Q comms." They all got to their seats and secured their seatbelts around their chests and legs. "Everyone ready?" Amber asked. "Affirmative," both Jane and Max chorused. Dropping now, there was a sudden feeling of everything twisting. Colors seemed to become brighter for an instant. Amber felt herself get pulled and pushed in every direction. The scientists back at Luna had said this feeling was due to some sort of fluctuation in electromagnetic fields, messing with her nerves. Apparently, there was a whole new type of math devoted to Alcubierre spatial equations, though there was a lot of other esoteric science behind transitions to and from Alcubierre space. Almost immediately after exiting Alcubierre space, they got the message. "Space Piercer, we're getting multiple errors in control. Do you know something about this? We saw the errors appear while transiting Alcubierre space at 124.3672 minutes after entrance. We're almost exactly halfway to Pluto. In fact, the errors appeared exactly halfway through the journey." "What happened, pilot?" There was a burst of static across the microphone. "We're losing. Adjust the. Can you?" There was a much longer burst of static. "Thank you for your." The last bit was cut off completely. Amber looked at Jane, whose face was now quite pale. Amber released her seatbelt and stood up. "Can anyone tell me what the heck just happened?" Jane freed herself from her chair. "I don't know. Maybe the Alcubierre space messed with the Q-com alignment? They ran nearly 1,000 tests on those effects. It doesn't do anything. Something was different this time. Maybe it was us?" suggested Max. "Us? Perhaps it's something to do with our sentience at large. We've only tested Alcubierre jumps on non-sentient creatures until now." Jane nodded. "Well, I'll go take inventory of our food stocks." Amber began thinking about how long they could survive. The oxygen reclamation systems would be the last to go, able to go for a year before breaking down. They had water and waste reclamation systems, but the waste reclamation would only get them through about a week before it lost the nutrient content necessary to sustain them. "We should do an investigation." "Amber, did you see which system threw errors first?" "QCOM, though once we got back to real space, the error message for that one disappeared. It's the only way to communicate with us." "Do you think it was hostile action?" asked Max, unstrapping himself. "If we assume so, then it wouldn't be anyone from Earth, Luna, or Mars. We're all at peace with one another, especially after the aid we sent to that Martian colony. So, aliens? Not probable, but possible. If they can hijack Q-comms, though, then they're too powerful for us to fight anyway. What else could explain the errors?" A light appeared in the center of the room. "That would be me." Amber blinked in shock. "What are you, and why can you speak? Are you responsible for the problems with our FTL capabilities?" The light grew larger and dimmed from bright white to a dark green. "That, my friends, is why I'm here. My name is Gaia, and I'm going to use you to send a message to humanity. equals 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 far away. A probe's virtual intelligence stirred as a message repeatedly flashed in the computer interface. Spatial Jump detected the virtual intelligence, searched through the probe's cameras as a red light pulsed. As the cameras zoomed in, the red light resolved itself into a long line, from a moon of the third planetary body halfway to the ninth planetary body. System designated 2383.84927. 1567. Star size is 1.1 standard stellar radii. Transmitting. The virtual intelligence forwarded the message to the nearest jump space communications beacon. The tight beam gamma ray would take several standard years to reach it. The virtual intelligence ran a calculation. FTL civilization 18%, likely to have linked particle communication jamming abilities. Forwarding message to the Bureau of Military Affairs, the Bureau of Contact Affairs, the Bureau of Scientific Studies, and the Bureau of Bureaucracy. The virtual intelligence slipped back into a slumber of inactivity. The probe turned its sensors to close monitoring of System 2383, 84,927.1567. Amber paced around the room with her hands on her hips. So, you've been watching us since we were still hooting in the African savannah, and you only decided to interfere now? Yes. Now that you have achieved FTL travel, you are worthy of my attention and direct intervention. Max gave the glowing green orb an indignant look. Why are we only worth your attention now? He asked. There was clear mistrust in his voice, a sentiment Amber wasn't entirely opposed to. I am a selfish being, Gaia said. I did not want to befriend a species so soon, only to have them kneel down and worship me. And you all are so very cute. I wanted to see if you were capable of surviving on your own. Hang on, Jane said. Cute? Yes. All those dreams and desires, those fears, and of course, that little yearning for a mate so many of you have. It's cute. What's your word for it? Ah, yes, it gives me a protective instinct. The problem is that any species I pamper would become weak and dull. I did not want that. So when you flew your planes to bomb your cities, I didn't say a word. When you detonated your atomic bombs during your Second and Third World Wars, I didn't stop you. So you don't care about us. Not really. I'm not all-loving and all-knowing, nor all-powerful, if that's what you're implying. My emotions control me just like most other creatures. Like you, my mind is a constant battleground between logic and emotion. But nature is all about tough love. You've survived my strongest hurricanes, my strongest non-supervolcano eruptions, and even my strongest earthquakes, heat waves, and cold snaps. Amber frowned. So let's leave all the ethical questions to the psychologists and philosophers. What will you do now, Gaia? She asked. Make first contact, of course. Equals 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 the virtual intelligence received a new message from the Bureau of Contact Affairs. Closely monitor the 2383.84927.1567 system. Move probe position to outer asteroid field of the 2383.84927.1567 system. Maintain secrecy and observe the thin atmosphere planets and their moons. Cloaked fusion thrusters fired in the interstellar void. The virtual intelligence ran simulations and calculations on trajectories. The ninth planetary body was actually a nearly binary system. The civilization would likely visit the planetary body within a short period. The virtual intelligence searched for a suitable-sized asteroid to hide the probe. Upon locating it, the route was adjusted by a few increases in thrust. It would take a bit of time, but the probe would reach the system. equals 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 sir. We're detecting an anomaly outside the New York UN meeting building. The president rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. Tell me the situation. At 12:32 Earth Standard Time, several cameras showed a large rectangular stone formation slowly rise from the ground. Pieces of the stone began to sink back down into the ground at 12:36. At 12:50, the stone looked like this. The informant handed the president a tablet. In the middle of the garden sat clear English letters. Bring your leaders to this building. I want to have a chat. President Feldram leaned back in his chair and straightened his tie. Any organizations claiming responsibility? No, but the news is already all over it. There's nearly 1,000 drones hovering outside the perimeter we set up for it. We've tried to keep the reporters themselves outside the perimeter too. Have you done analysis on the stone? Yes. It is 50% hematite, 50% barite. Exactly. There have been no other minerals found in the stone besides this. Do a full chemical and electromagnetic sweep. Call the Chinese and Russians. See if they know something about it. Right away, Mr. President. President Feldram sighed. He wondered how much political turmoil the new event was going to generate. It was surprising how trivial things could suddenly become massively polarizing topics when they were connected to world leaders. It's too early in the morning for this. Equals 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 equals. All we had to do was turn on the FTL. Again after angling the ship back at Earth? Amber yelled. Was it really that simple? She didn't think that was the best idea, but they were out of any others. The crew had no access to communications. The radio and laser communications were still not responding, and the crew didn't have the tools to fix them. Gaia said yes, it should be that simple, but we'll be able to jump soon. Why not now? Sorry. I had to get my message across to the others. Transmitting my power across this level of distance causes the problems in your technology. The others? The leaders of your nations. Max laughed. Oh, of course. Let me just hop over back to Earth and make me sing your praises. Smart. Gaia focused their light on him. You know, if I wanted you dead, I would have simply crashed you into Pluto. You're not very good at currying favors, are you, Gaia? Max asked as he strapped in. Amber sighed. Can we save the argument for later? I've got to input the coordinates and do all the procedures for entering Alcubierre space. Jane placed her hand on Max's forehead. I'll make it worth your while after we get back to Earth. She almost purred. Max sighed. Don't think that's going to work every time, Jane. Jane moved over to her own seat. I don't think it will work every time, she said. I know it will. Amber rolled her eyes and continued checking the systems. Most of the errors had disappeared, except for the fact that she still couldn't contact control. Entering Alcubierre space in 1 minute, she said. 30 seconds. 10. Entering Alcubierre space. The world around them stretched and squeezed again. The green light of Gaia faded, leaving a floating glass orb in the air behind Amber's head. The crew couldn't find any subjects that breached the uncomfortable feeling in the air, so their conversations remained short and awkward. They exited Alcubierre space above Earth. Several messages appeared on the screen through the satellite communications. Amber opened the communication request from Earth Space Control. Identify yourself, a voice said over the speakers on the ship. Amber Grayson, pilot and captain of the UHF Space Piercer. I am carrying Maxwell Nellie Army, Jane Perlin, and a strange being calling itself Gaia. As she said its name, the orb lit up again. It moved closer to the speaker. I'm the one who made the letters in front of your UN conference building. We will land on the lawn. Make space. Equals 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 equals. President Feldram was currently flying To New York on Air Force One. Sir, we have received a message from a ship claiming to be the lost space piercer. They claim to be carrying a being called Gaia, who claims to be responsible for the anomaly outside the UN conference building. Where is it right now? The being claimed that the space piercer was going to land on the lawn of the conference building and to make space for it. Let's get that done. Do we have any military assets in the region? For military bases and one carrier are ready to scramble fighter aircraft. The building's natural turret and laser defenses are fully active and prepared. The combat drones are on standby. When will we arrive? 10 minutes. We have begun widening the perimeter. The Russians have called for an emergency meeting at the New York building. Several world leaders are on their way. His informant handed him a folder. The briefing isn't here, Mr. President. Call the Secretary of Defense. I want to get us some contingency plans. Equals 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 equals. This is Tom Rears of the American News Network. We have several breaking news stories as we come on the air. First, the UHF space piercer, now missing for 2 days, has reappeared above New York. It is currently descending to the UN conference building, which is now under heavy security due to another story which we covered earlier. We have received word that the Russian Federation has called for an emergency meeting at the UN conference building in New York. Security is being heavily built up around the location. We are continually monitoring the situation for any updates. Thanks, Tom, a reporter said. The camera focused on them as they spoke again. Now for the weather. Joe, if you would. The camera panned to a well-dressed man in front of a map of America. As you can see here, the sky is incredibly clear across the country. California's getting a frosty 70 degrees behind the cold front, with 90s and 100s further south. There's another polar vortex over the Midwest, causing single-digit temperatures in much of the northern nation. Florida is still Florida, with rain predicted for the Keys and the Panhandle for the next 4 days as Tropical Storm Kathy rolls in. The storm is projected to create blizzard conditions in the New England region. The state of New York, where the president is going to arrive shortly, has mild 60-degree temperatures with nearly no cloud cover in the whole state. Indeed, the only bits of America covered by clouds are near the West Coast and Florida. I've got to say, guys, this year's been even more wild than the rest. The camera panned back to the two reporters sitting at a glass table. Next up, are the rumors about Hilly Nabatha really just rumors? We'll be back at 6 to discuss them after these local messages. Equals 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 equals. A few hours later, the space piercer was back on the ground. They'd been given orders to wait until the last of the world leaders showed up, as some had very long flights to New York. Amber was watching the news while Jane and Max were spending time together in the plant room. So apparently the reporters were having a field day over all the news today. She wondered for a bit what would happen if they had never came back from the deep dark of the void. There would be news stories, but more likely a whimper than a bang. Gaia floated over to her. "You look sad," they said softly. "I'm sorry about this. I should have helped earlier. It's not that. I just don't like being dragged around like some sort of taxi driver." Gaia's soft light glowed brighter. "I wanted to wait until we left the ship to reveal this, but you look like you really need some comfort right now." Amber looked at the floating orb. It disappeared for a fraction of a second before a person appeared at its place. Gaia was beautiful. She stood up and moved to embrace Gaia as the tears flowed. Gaia placed a soft hand on Amber's back. "It's okay," Gaia said softly. "I won't let them hurt you."